This is the Transportation Committee. I traded it. And I'm just sitting in for Mr. Bonin, who's not here. I'm with Mr. Kokoyan. We're co-chairing the meeting. Madam Clerk, you ready to roll?
We're ready.
Okay, you ready to roll, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Item number 1.
Item number 1 is an Englander Bonin motion relative to authorizing a special events pilot program for the weekly Granada Hills food truck event.
Anybody here to speak to that? Council office? Council office? Council office support it? Good. You want to say something real quick?
We support the food truck supporting.
Very good. Everybody supports it. How many do you think, Paul?
I think it's a great idea. I understood that the council office was going to request that the city attorney, or that there be an additional instruction requesting the city attorney to prepare and present a revised special events ordinance to allow the issuance of permits for posting of restricted parking for food truck events. That was my understanding of what the council office had requested. But with that, I think it makes good sense.
Mr. Gallagher, you're okay?
Gallagher, maybe have a...
Brian Gallagher, Department of Transportation. As long as the initial motion is amended to direct the city attorney to work to prepare an ordinance with the Bureau of Street Service and the Department of Transportation to amend the special event parking ordinance, that will be fine.
Very good.
Is that consistent with what CD 12 was? Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Good.
Works for me.
Hey, come up here for a second, real quick. Sit down and state your name for the record so you get credit for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Brian O. from the Office of Councilmember Englander's office.
Thank you.
We have also spoken with DOT and the CLA office and agree that,
we all feel good, so we support that. I second Mr. Kokoyan's motion. Move forward. Next item.
Item number 2 is a DOT report relative to an MOU with Ciclavia for 2 Ciclavia events to be held during fiscal year 13-14.
The representative from Ciclavia is on the phone outside, so we'll hold this. Let's go to item number 3.
Item number 3 is a CAO report relative to increasing the fingerprint special service fee from $76 to $88 for vehicle permitting fees.
Move the item.
Move the item. Thank you so much to full council. Item number 4.
Item number 4 is a CAO report relative to contracts with 7 firms for the continuation of services provided for the city's charter bus program. I believe the CAO has a quick technical amendment to the recommendation.
And Mr. Kokoyan, I'd like to have a charter bus day to salute all the charter bus drivers because they bring people around. So we could arrange that for us, James, in 2014? We salute those charter buses. What do you have to say, James?
This is a request to award contracts to 7 firms for the continued operation of our city charter bus program. 5 of the 7 are incumbents, 2 new contractors. These are as-needed contracts, so we need to have a number of firms on retainers so that we have the adequate supply when we meet our demand. And I want to throw in one quick point. Our costs for the first year of the new contract are 8.4% less than our current costs, so we're pleased to be able to report that and should be able to provide more service within the existing budget.
Is it general fund money or MTA money?
Prop A.
Prop A. Okay, good.
Ida Rubio with the Office of the City Administrative Officer. I just need to make a technical amendment to the report. I'd like to read into the record that the CAO recommendation should be revised as follows, that the City Council and the Mayor authorize a General Manager of Transportation to execute a total of 7 as-needed contracts for the continuation of the city's charter bus program for a term of 5 years from February 1st, 2014 to January 31st, 2019, subject to the approval of the city attorney as to form.
All right. I'll move the item as amended.
Second. So ordered.
You want to go back to item 2?
No, let's go to 5 real quick.
Okay. Item number 5 is City Attorney Report and Ordinance amending Section 88.00 and 88.50 of Chapter 8, Division U of the LAMC to revise the boundaries of the various parking meter zones and update the list of public off-street parking facilities.
We have one card, Barry Johnson, Studio City residents.
Good afternoon. I also believe our bid and our Chamber of Commerce would have been here today, but we just discovered this late yesterday. We highly object to being the only subzone in the valley, and for that matter, all of Los Angeles, that has Studio City's subzone 2 at $1.50 per hour. Everywhere else in the entire valley, every other community along Ventura Boulevard is $1 per hour. But for some reason, this 1/2 mile from Whitsett to Laurel Canyon is down at $1.50 per hour. There are no other $1.50 per hours in the city in the 66-page document. There are a few $2 per hour, for instance, Hollywood and Vine, which maybe there's a reason for that. But yet, Sunset and Vine is $1 per hour. We just don't feel that we should be singled out at $1.50 per hour along Ventura Boulevard when every other mile in the 17 miles of Ventura Boulevard is $1 an hour.
Good. Staff, come join us at the table. Thank you. You complete your comments there? Thanks.
Dan Mitchell, LADOT. So we haven't had a chance to discuss this. One thing I wanted to make clear is this ordinance does not change any rates in the city of Los Angeles. It just is a restatement of the existing rates. But I can address this gentleman's concern about Studio City. The history there has to do with the Studio City garage in that segment. And so there was this even predates my time, but I do know this history. The original rates started at 25 cents an hour, I believe, and then they went up incrementally each year in order to address the inequity between the on-street demand and the available supply in the garage. So that's the history behind that.
So that's the reason why they're there.
So, Mr. LaBonge, I just also did want to respond briefly because after speaking with Mr. Johnson, I flipped through this in somewhat more detail, and it actually, there's quite a variety of different rates at different parts of town. There are a number that are significantly higher in downtown and Chinatown and other places, but since this is not changing existing rates, I'm prepared to move it forward, but I would like to talk more with staff between now and the time it goes to council about the derivation of the various rates, and we can address any concerns perhaps before council, but I'm prepared to move it forward with that.
All right, so ordered. And for the record, I think the rates are the least in the 12th district. You know why, Mr. Johnson? There's not a meter in the 12th district, so anyway, okay, yeah. It used to be, maybe they put them in there, I don't know. Chief, you'll answer. Let's go to item number 3.
2. For six.
2, why not
Okay.
2? Thank you
This
so
is the
much.
DOT report relative to the MOU with Ciclavia.
All right, good.
Good afternoon, council members. Robert Andelon, LADOT. Before you is a report recommending that DOT be directed to submit the necessary claim form to the Transportation Development Act to claim the $800,000 in supplemental appropriation to the City of Los Angeles to pay for bicycle outreach program through the Ciclavia. And number 2, to approve the attached scope of work with Ciclavia. As you may know, Ciclavia has been a very successful event within the City of Los Angeles for the past few years, and this is a continuation of that particular activity for this fiscal year.
And what funding is it? General fund or Prop A?
This is from Special Transportation Development Act fund, so these are totally separate from the general fund.
What's the transportation? That's a new one for me, but give it to me.
Well, it comes from MTA as a special allotment.
Okay, got it. Good. Okay, good. And this young man, give us a report.
Aaron Paley, co-founder of Ciclavia, executive director, and I'm just here to answer any questions. Of course, we're in favor of this, and we're highly supportive of it.
And I'm Nat Gale in Mayor Garcetti's Office of City Services, working on transportation projects. We've been working with both DOT and Ciclavia in executing this MOU. And of course, Mayor Garcetti's a huge proponent of Ciclavia and increasing the program across the city and across the region.
Any questions?
Happy to move the item, and I'm looking forward to Ciclavia's arrival in the San Fernando Valley.
We are too.
And the question there on the liability on street, if there's been any accidents or any claims or anything in the...
So far, there have been no claims. Clearly, there are accidents that happen at every Ciclavia. I'm happy to report that when we first started Ciclavia, we'd get about a dozen ambulance calls. The last Ciclavia had no ambulance calls. So we've been working very hard to bring it down. No one has yet filed a claim against Ciclavia.
And are we covered with additional insurance on that?
Well, Ciclavia, the nonprofit, insures the event, and we are insuring it fully, and then after they get through us, they'll get to you.
Got it. But we don't want that. We want everybody safe. And when's the next one?
April 6th, Wilshire Boulevard.
All the way out?
Not all the way out, Fairfax to downtown.
Well, you did the great job too, Paul, which when we get to the valley, you could do it in NoHo. They created all the activity in front of the LACMA,
Yes.
which you're going to do the same there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's very good.
Big
So
street
it's very good.
festival at that end
with
and
the
at
arts.
the other end in downtown.
Very good. Good job, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you. And tell the mayor we said hello. I just
Will do. Thank you.
miss him, because he's working out there in the city. We're stuck here. All right, so ordered.
Thank you.
Next item.
Okay.
That brings us to item number 6, which is a Bonin-Englander resolution relative to establishing an oversized vehicle restriction on Kenter Avenue in
Yeah,
Brentwood.
this is good.
Move the item.
Seconded. So ordered. This is, and did you want to speak to it? We're going to approve it, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Zachy, start getting the signs made. Next item.
Item number 7 is a Bonin-Cedillo resolution relative to establishing an oversized vehicle restrictions on various streets in Manchester Square.
Move the item.
So ordered. Move the item.
Item number 8 is the DOT report relative to the Broadway Streetscape Master Plan dress rehearsal service contracts with 3 business improvement districts located along Broadway.
And a planning deputy for the 14th district is here. Karen, is that correct? Kevin? Yes. Thanks, Kevin.
Good afternoon. Council office looks forward to this moving forward and executing the contract so the Broadway Streetscape Master Plan can move ahead of schedule as soon as possible.
And does the MTA oversee this as well?
This would be solely within the Department of Transportation.
Now, the busiest bus street in the city is Broadway. So are you going to move the curbs at all, or is it mostly off the existing curb?
As I understand it, this project will expand using paint and planters and move those, and the bus routes will continue to move through Broadway.
And will you take out some lanes there for capacity?
The ultimate Streetscape Master Plan does call for removal of some of the lanes on Broadway, but will also essentially double the size of the pedestrian realm within.
And the councilman supports that?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Corin, you're all right?
Well, I do note that the recommendation exceeds the previous council-approved amount for ongoing maintenance by $50,000, and Chairman Bonin had requested that we revise the recommendation to read as follows. Authorize the LADOT interim general manager to negotiate and execute contracts with the historic downtown bid, the fashion district bid, and the downtown center bid substantially in conformance with the details described in and attached to this report for the maintenance and operation of the Broadway Streetscape Master Plan dress rehearsal project with a per contract limit not to exceed $350,000 and a cumulative total amount not to exceed $300,000 for all 3 contracts in the first 2 years, for a term of 2 years with up to 3 one-year options that would be subject to the council approval of future funds for the ongoing maintenance of the project.
So we could add that to it, so I accept that. With that amendment?
Move the item.
Move the item. Okay, item number 8.5. Just to ask, this is an instant poll. Everybody look to the right there. And Debbie, if you could hold some up. These are a variety of pieces of maps of the city of Los Angeles. And I just want to, this is an instant poll, Sergeant. So, and Madam CLA and Madam Clerk, this is some art. Does anyone have any objection to hang? Hold it up a little, Isaac, so they see the map of downtown.
Isaac, you're going to be Vanna White for
Vanna White for a second. Very good. A map of the harbor, a map. When Mr. Muckery was the great general manager, he's going to be a DOT over at the Parks Department. We put a parks map up here. So would some people here, just the instant poll, like to see art on the wall of our city's maps? Good. No one objection? We'll talk to General Services. Thank you, Paul. I have them in my office, and I got to get rid of them. My wife says I can't bring them home.
Oh,
I got 18
fantastic.
months to put them somewhere.
I get first dibs.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Debbie. Maria.
That brings us to the last item, item number 9, which is the DOT report relative to an application for a 2014 Traffic Safety Grant Award in the amount of $696,000 from the California Office of Traffic Safety for a high school bicycle safety program.
Who's going to speak to Michelle Bowery and Pauline Chan, 2 of the finest representatives And Michelle, I must single out Pauline for the work that she's done in traffic neighborhood calming in such a great way all your years. Thank you.
Councilmember. Michelle Mallory, Senior Bicycle Coordinator with LADOT. Currently, the City of Los Angeles does not offer high school education, neither does LAUSD, for bicycle riding high school students. The Office of Traffic Safety has just released their call for projects for new safety education programs in the state of California, and specifically call out high school bicycle education as one of the projects they'd like to fund. So we would like to apply for that. If the city is awarded the funds, it would be a two-year project that would cover 10 years. We'd work in coordination with LAUSD.
Terrific.
I'm sorry?
It's terrific. Move the item.
Yeah, just a quick question, though, since we go from Chatsworth to San Pedro. Can you focus in certain areas, like, say, have and I don't know if this is appropriate, but have a contest or a partnership with LA Unified that says these high schools want to do a bike program so that you could do it? Because you could spend $836,000, whatever it is, between Belmont and Contreras High School, and they're a block away on the other side. Can you come up with a plan that shows success?
We have a plan to implement which schools will be selected, and they're going to be selected on the collision data in the city. So where we have the highest amount of bicycle collisions, or where we intend to focus the education efforts.
Why do you do it on the school that wants to ride the most bikes to school?
I think there could be a criterion included which has to do with the current potential or actual ridership to that particular school in combination with the crash metrics.
We used to have a big cage you put your bikes in. Now that all went away. I don't even know. I think it would be interesting to do a poll with LA Unified to see who have bike racks at their schoolyards. You know, could you do that, Michelle?
Not under this grant, but we'd be happy to work with LAUSD to do
Yeah,
that.
just do they have a bike coordinator at the Office of Traffic Safety or anything?
I don't believe so in OTS. The state DOT does.
I see Mr. Backstrom there from Mr. Bonin's office. Why don't the chairman write a letter? Would you like this idea, or do you want us two guys to do it, to LA Unified? Yeah, because I think it's a good idea. Let's see where they are, because it's kind of fallen out of favor, but with the adult population riding bicycles, it would be good to see the youth population come back. Instead of driving a 57 Chevy to school, that really dates me, Paul.
It does.
You know, they drive a Gianni bike.
It's a great car, though.
Yeah, it is a great car.
Actually, that is an interesting point. This is targeted high school students.
That's correct.
What was the rationale there, rather than younger students where you'll have a higher proportion of bicycle riders than high school students?
LADOT has been funding a bicycle education program for elementary and middle schools for over 20 years. So we currently spend about $350,000 a year on younger students. We don't hit the high school, so we do want to be able to get.
I see. So that's the missing piece of the puzzle.
It is.
And we're only spending $300 a year for all elementary and middle schools.
Between
So to your
300
point,
and
Mr.
350.
LaFonge, that's
Yeah, the contractor is obligated to try and rotate those schools. So we
Pat Hines?
Yes. The Safe Moves is our contractor, and we rotate. Her goal is to rotate to get all the schools within a 3-year period.
Yeah.
And
Now-
she does great work. I've been to a few of them, and they are outstanding programs.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know, if you were on Jeopardy and they asked, what runs government? What is the biggest thing that runs government? What would be the answer
Elected
is?
officials?
No. Statistics. And the only way you get statistics is by numbers. And that's why I have a concept that you have not been able to accept. We're trying to license the number of bicycles in the county. So think about it. Statistics do drive everything in government. And some boy figured out, I know the police department didn't want it, you guys didn't want it. If bikes really want to be as big as they want to be, and I understand and appreciate that, I think they statistically have to. And the reason why I say that is the horses do have a license, and every horse, that license goes right back into the equine improvement. And every bike license go back right into bikes. So just a thought, and I know I've had resistance, but I give it to you at this hour, 29 minutes after 2 on this great day. Mr. Kokoya, we finished
Let's
this
look at
committee.
this clock, and then it's
Yeah,
only
it's 15 minutes. Yeah, I like that one. It was a fast meeting. Anybody else have any public comment? We're okay?
So we're moving the item
And we
forward.
welcome Mr. Muckery. Is this your first committee for transportation? Second. But that was a special committee. This is the first regular committee. All right, thank you. So
Nothing
the,
regular about this.
no, thank you.
Thank you. We're adjourned. We're adjourned. We're adjourned. All right.